Well, hello, friends. Benji and I are here on election week. We're only 1 week out now, and if you're anything like us, I'm sure you're eager for us to get past this election and all the advertising and all that has gone into this season. But we just wanted to come to you with a few suggestions, recommendations as how to behave and think Christianly as we approach this election season. The first thing I want to just affirm is that we want to be grateful people. We are so privileged to live in a country like America, and the privilege has a lot of responsibilities that go with it. I just heard a story recently from a speech made by former Secretary of Defense, General James Mattis. He told this story of when he was serving in Iraq, and an insurgent had been brought to him, captured by the Marines in the act of laying mines on a major road that he had actually just traveled. And the interesting thing about this insurgent was he actually spoke English, and so the Marines brought him to see the general. And this man was in every sense an enemy of our country. He had been trying to kill our soldiers. He expressed that he thought of America as the great Satan. And but Mattis tells the story that as he was explaining to this man that an orange jumpsuit awaited him and he was going to spend time as a prisoner, the man caught him at the very end and said, "General, can I just ask you a question?" And he said, "Sure, what's your question?" He said, "If I behave properly, if I'm a model prisoner, is there any chance that my family and me might immigrate to America someday?" And Mattis said, "Well," he said, "I would never sponsor this guy," but he reflected back on what the other people think of us, even our enemies think about America, and what a great privilege it would be to be able to live here. And so my first word is, let's remember what a privilege it is to live in a country like America, and let's take the responsibility we have this election season seriously.
And part of that responsibility and reflecting on that privilege is doing your homework when it comes time to cast your vote. I know for me, when I receive my election mail and then the booklet that outlines all the different propositions, it's a little bit complex and sometimes overwhelming. But one response to that is to simply back away and say it's too much for me. Another is to dig in and to understand really the implications of what a yes vote or a no vote might actually mean. I encourage you to do your homework. I would challenge you to avail yourself of others who know more than you do, others who understand these propositions or the positions and policies that candidates are advocating for better than you do. Find those people, sit down with them, say, help me understand if I vote yes on this or if I vote for this particular candidate, what am I actually voting for? What if I say yes? What if I say no? It's part of exercising the privilege that we would do so in a way that is informed and thoughtful.
Yeah. Along with that too, I want to encourage all of us to know where our true hope lies. If you get depressed just thinking about your party or your favored candidate losing, there's a good chance that you have made the party or that candidate an idol. I want to remind, I don't know who I heard this from, but I think it's so true. I heard somebody say recently that we are Christians first and foremost. Secondly, we're Americans, and somewhere down the line underneath that is we're Republicans or Democrats. And I think that's such a good thing to keep in mind. We are first and foremost children of God, and that trumps everything else, no pun intended. The second thing I want to say is on that is even beyond your candidate, if America itself, as great a nation as it is, has become in your mind the hope of the world, well, then there's a good chance that you have made our country an idol in your life. I just heard this incredible quote from Mark Dever. I think it's so good. He says, "Before and after America, there was and will be the church. The nation is an experiment. The church is a certainty." And that is so good. So let's remember that we are children of God and we are members of Christ's church, far more than we are a member of a certain political candidate, or even far more importantly than we are a citizen of this country.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I want to say, church, it's a really good thing as those who belong to Jesus to have convictions. What we believe really matters, and we believe that those beliefs play out in daily life. And so having convictions, well, I'd say it's an important aspect of belonging to the family of God. But an equally important aspect of belonging to God's family is the manner in which we hold our convictions. And I want to encourage us in the days ahead. We may interact with people who voted differently than us. We may interact with people who are rejoicing when we're grieving or grieving when we're rejoicing. And we have an opportunity to be humble about our convictions, to show compassion, to put on kindness towards others when it comes to our political conclusions. We need to remember there are smart and godly people who love Jesus who conclude very differently about these political issues. And they come to really different conclusions about what is for the common good in our nation. We need to be prepared to treat brothers and sisters as brothers and sisters with dignity and with compassion. If you question the orthodoxy or wisdom of those who vote differently than you do, well, the chance is that you have a pride problem that is operating in your heart. Church, we cannot demonize those who share different political viewpoints than we do. In fact, one of the key markers of belonging to God's family is that we see the image of God in everyone. In his book, Thou Shalt Not Be a Jerk, Eugene Cho says, when we're more obsessed with winning and being right, when we're more obsessed with power and privilege, more obsessed with winning culture wars, and when we act and speak in ways that are completely antithetical to what we say we believe as followers of Christ, people, fellow Christians and non-Christians, can't help but see the dissonance, and it has consequences. So let's be mindful of the way that we even interact with those we might disagree with in the days, the weeks ahead.
So good. Let me just leave you finally with one more quote. This is from Jonathan Leeman. In his book he recently wrote on faith and politics. He says this: a Christian's political posture, in a word, must never be withdrawal, nor should it be dominate. It must always be represent. And we must do this when the world loves us and when it despises us. Anyone who tells you, withdraw, we're losing, or push forward, we're winning, may have succumbed to a kind of utopianism, as if we could build heaven on earth. Instead, heaven starts in our assemblies. He's talking about our church families gathered, even if only as in a mirror dimly. Christians are heaven's ambassadors, and our churches are its embassies. Neither panic nor triumphalism become us. A cheerful confidence does. We represent this heavenly and future kingdom now, whether the skies are cloudy or clear. I think that's just a good word. So, friends, let's, as we approach this final week before the elections, let's approach it with a cheerful confidence, knowing that whoever wins, whatever props make it past our thumbs up or thumbs down, Jesus will be on the throne, and that gives us a cheerful confidence in the days to come. So, hope this is a helpful reminder to you in the week as we approach the election. We love you guys.
Love you.